Hello, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Welcome to the BrainSell webcast, SugarCRM Outlook Integration, Out-of-the-Box Plugin versus Implicit Front-End. My name is Sarah, and I will be your moderator for today's event. Before we begin, I would like to review a few housekeeping items for this session. Our presentation will last approximately 45 minutes with some time for questions at the end. And all phone lines will be muted during today's event just to cut down on the background noise. But we do welcome your questions at any time throughout the presentation. And to submit those, just go ahead and put them into the chat window in the lower right side of your screen. And we will attempt to answer as many questions as possible. But if we don't have a chance to answer your questions, we'll follow up with you via email. And finally, a recorded version of this presentation will be available in a day or so. We'll send it to all registrations via email with a link to the replay. So to get started, I'd like to introduce today's presenters. First presenter is Sonia Friedel, President at BrainSell. And then we also have Ronnie Mansour, CTO and Managing Director of Implicit FrontEnd. So with that, hi guys, thank you both for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And with that, I'll hand things over to you, Sonia.
Great. All right, well, thanks a lot, Sarah. And Ronnie, just want to make sure that you're there. Mic check.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone again for joining. Just a quick couple slides here before we hop into a live demonstration. And also, Sarah, if you'd start the recording right now, if it's not already beginning. Oh, it is. Great. So we'll be sending out recordings at the end of this. So you'll be able to pass it along to colleagues as well. So who's BrainSell? Well, first and foremost, we're a Sugar Elite partner. That means that we're one of their top partners globally, helping the most Sugar customers out there with deploying and making their system successful. We were founded in 1994 by Jim Ward, who's still active in the business today, and we're based on the North Shore of Boston in Topsfield, Mass. But we have offices and engineers and business analysts all around the country, and we really love to deliver unbiased technology advice, which is consulting first, and then product implementation and services after the fact, after things have been settled with process. It's important to note too that we don't just dabble in sugar. We're also partners with a lot of different CRM, ERP, and marketing automation systems. So check out our website for what we offer. So go right ahead, Sarah. And the agenda, we're going to keep it pretty tight today. I'd love to be able to keep it just around 40 minutes or less. And what we're going to cover. So what's the point of integrating your CRM with Outlook? What does that achieve? We'll be speaking a lot about that. We'll also be doing a side-to-side comparison of Sugar with Implicit, which is the leading plugin for aftermarket Sugar Outlook integration. And then, of course, a live demo of both tools. I will be handling the out-of-the-box Sugar plugin, and Ronnie, because he's such a product expert, will be handling the Implicit side of things. And we're going to try to keep those to 10 minutes or less. Ronnie, you have a lot more features, so there's a teaser.
Yeah.
So you may be taking a little bit more time. I may be taking about 5-6 minutes on mine. And then QA, as we go along, please feel free to put questions in the questions box on the right of your side panel there and go to webinar. So why integrate CRM with Outlook? Well, I'll give my point of view, and then Ronnie, I'd love to have that conversation, have you pipe in. I often see, a paradigm shift when companies are implementing CRM for the first time. Normally, you're living out of Outlook, right? So before CRM, everything's in Outlook, maybe it's in spreadsheets, but you're going to rely heavily on your contacts and your tasks, right? So the paradigm shift is really updating things through inside of Outlook, but you're really updating CRM, right? Because you're not keeping track of now everything in Outlook like you were in the old days. Now you are updating a CRM database. It seems like double work, right? If you have to do it in Outlook and then do it again in CRM. That is the #1 reason that people refuse to adapt to CRM, right? Is because they're just irritated that it's more work for them. This cuts down on the work, and you'll see when we show you the live demos why that's so. And of course, that's going right into increasing adoption Also, some really basic things are, of course, carbon copying emails, let's say, the body of an email into CRM. Another huge thing, concern would be, what if an employee leaves and they leave with their, their Outlook intact, or they've downloaded their Outlook database and taken off? Where do you pick up after they've left off? First of all that knowledge may be gone, but also the updates to their deals and things that they're working are contextually inside of emails, and what a nightmare that's going to be. So let's keep all the system of record inside CRM, and let's make it easier for people to update that from within Outlook. I know I'm kind of all over the place there, but Ronnie, do you have anything else to add on why?
I will when I talk about the philosophy behind the product, yes.
Okay, wonderful. So we can advance here. And Ronnie, why don't you take us through this kind of checklist? And I'll just kind of simplify it to you by saying SugarCRM plugin on the right is the out-of-the-box one that you get free with your Sugar product. So let me just dial it back and explain that. You do have, and I'll show you when I demo where to find this product within your Sugar subscription. This is for Professional, Enterprise, and Ultimate. If you pay for SugarCRM on an annualized basis, then you do have rights to the free plugin, which is listed on the right there. And then Implicit, again, Ronnie, maybe you can take us through some of the features that the Implicit plugin gives. And again, this is a very small user fee, but it's an enhanced Outlook integration, a lot more functionality than what Sugar gives you out of the box. So Ronnie, walk us through these features. This is great.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you a demo in a few minutes, and we'll talk about areas where we are similar to the native plugin, Sugar plugin, and where we are considerably different in the way we approach Outlook integration. So it starts with basic synchronization of data, contacts, calendars, tasks, and goes into full access of all CRM data from within Outlook. So as opposed to Sugar, which really just links the data from Outlook, and anything you do when you click on an item automatically takes you back into Sugar. Here we allow you to stay in Outlook. We provide you with full access to all the CRM data inside Outlook without having to switch back and forth. I'll show you how we support custom modules and custom fields. So if you've created your own custom modules in Sugar, you have the ability to access them as well from within Outlook. I'll talk about the email side panel and how we process, although the native plugin also provides email side panel, I'll show you how we do it differently. Email archiving is one area where we've invested a lot of effort and provide really a rich functionality, both for manual email archiving, many different options, as well as a rule-based engine for auto-archiving of emails. Email conversations, the ability to archive a complete conversation in one go. I'll show you how you can leverage email templates that you've created in Sugar for the purpose of mass marketing. We are leveraging that functionality and allowing you to access it from within Outlook when you're composing an email to a client, and how you can do a mail merge between the CRM data and the template.
Awesome. Awesome. That's a great feature.
I'll show you how we, I'll show you how we provide tools for your Sugar admin to create different configuration for different teams. So sales team would have one configuration of the product, support team will have a different one, and it's all centrally controlled and centrally managed. I'll show you the CRM action items, which is a new tool, productivity tool that we've added to the new version. I'll talk about how FrontEnd is really a combination. It's not just an Outlook plugin, but it's a combination of plugins that work together with Word, Excel, Outlook, of course, Acrobat, IE, Internet Explorer, Chrome. I'll talk about offline mode support, basically the two modes that the system can work in: tethered mode when you're online, and non-tethered mode when you are, for example, taking your laptop and meeting with a customer, and you may or may not have internet access. You still have all the CRM data with you. And then I'll mention two other products that we support, even though that's not the focus of this webinar: the Outlook for Mac and the Exchange Connector.
All right, wonderful. So it's my turn, huh? All right, Sarah, I am going to make myself presenter here. And, oh, that was not it. All right. So I'm going to start off, everyone, real quick in showing you where to locate this plugin. So quick free tip here. Sarah, you can see my screen, right? All right.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Awesome. So I am going to go to Profile, which is just right here by your little emoticon. And that's going to land me in my Profile area. Then there's a Downloads tab. And Sugar just updated their Outlook plugin. So this is where you locate the Outlook plugin. You click here and it downloads locally. So one time and then you've got it local. So there we go. That's where you download the plugin now. Then what? You install the plugin. It just takes moments. And what you're going to get is a bunch of functionality that's going to be put onto your Outlook client. Now, as that previous slide just showed, the Sugar out-of-the-box plugin only works with Outlook for PC. It does not work for Mac. So just be aware of that. And if you're on a pretty recent version of Outlook, you're not going to have any problem on the PC downloading this or making it work. So what do I have here? I've got a nice side panel that's filled up with information. I'm landed here on Devin's email. And what this plugin is doing is it's going to look for his Gmail address in our Sugar database, and it found it. If Devin didn't exist as a contact or lead in our Sugar, then this would be filled with nothing, and it would say, does not exist in Sugar. Would you like to add Devin as a lead or a contact? And from there, you could add him, and then he would be populated, pushed into Sugar. So you can actually create a lead or a contact from Outlook, and it will push into Sugar instantly. Then I can see his full information here. But if I want to do anything actionable, like edit his phone number, I'm going to be taken into the record inside of Sugar, where I can then edit and save, and it will sync back down into my Outlook client. So that's the first giant distinction between paid and unpaid, or implicit and out of the box. Out of the box really gives you a view only as far as doing actionable things and updating records in that side panel. So another thing that most people would do daily, every hour, would be I'm going to reply. I'm going to pop this out to make it easier. And I'm going to reply and say, quote coming your way. Well, I can just press this one button here, send an archive. What will happen is it will send the email, and it will also archive it inside of Sugar. Now, before I do that, I'm actually going to back out and create an opportunity, which you can do from here. I can actually create a new opportunity as well. The context of Devin's email says that he would like to purchase 78 seats of Sugar. That's awesome. And implicit. So this is one thing. I can create a new record from right inside of Outlook. I can go right here and say, okay, I want to create a new opportunity because he would like to move forward with more users. So I'm going to name this 78 users for Boston beer And I do have to go in here and select which account. Okay, I think this is it. Yep, select it. And the amount is, I don't know, $5,000. And sounds like he's going to close pretty soon. I'm going to hope to close it before the end of the month. And yeah, I want to archive the email. So the history of what he said to me is going to be archived on that opportunity record, which I can show you. And then, of course, I can hit this button. And every time we correspond back and forth and use the same email chain, the rest of the information will be copied. Okay, so it's creating an opportunity. And it turns pink. It turns pink because that notes that this email has been copied inside of Sugar. I've, of course, copied it from Implicit too, but you'll see that now. It's going to take a moment for this record to refresh and show, but then I'll be able to see that there's an opportunity for 78 users. Let's actually go back into Sugar, and I'm going to do a little live test here and see if that opportunity record is hit. And not yet. So this is going to work on a bit of a sync. Archiving an email happens instantly, but creating a new record like that will take a couple minutes. So let's see, let's go back here to reply. I'm going to pop this out and say, great, I'll send the quote over now. And again, instead of pressing the send button, I hit this new guy up here. I could rearrange it to put it over here, but I'm going to hit this. And again, it's going to send it to Devin and archive it to wherever I want. So it's asking me now to select, and I have to do this manually every time. But I can open this guy up and I can see, okay, all the things that are nestled underneath the account Boston Beer. Well, it's Devin. I wanted to show up this email carbon copy to show up under Devin's contact. I also definitely want it to show up under this brand new opportunity that I created. It's showing now. So it's going to be carbon copied on account, contact, opportunity. I can also do a little nifty thing here that says I can edit the email. So I can actually edit the header to say, you know, something to make it catch my eye when I'm looking at his record in Sugar. So I can say something like, you know, deal close email, because that's where he said he wanted it. So he's not going to see this, thank goodness, but it is going to be archived with this language in front of the subject. So I'll hit archive. A couple things happen. Devin is going to get the email, and that email is going to be archived in a few different places. It's going to be archived under the contact, the account, and the opportunity if all that has updated. So I can see now that there's the deal close email. So, of course, he saw the regular title, but this one shows that they're moving forward, deal close. I did that because, look, there are a lot of other threads with moving forward, and I want this one to be the one that I refer to see, this is where he said yes. The body of the email is carbon copied right here. And then all the other related things on that email. So here's the opportunity that hit. That's great. Now notice there's some fields that are blank. And there's even a required field that's blank. This is a deficiency, I'll say, in the product that Sugar gives you is that it doesn't make you fill out required fields. Look at all these required fields. So I actually have to go in and re-edit the record now. And okay. So save, now I can save my record. It's updated. If I scroll down, I can see yet again, there's that email. And I can actually preview it from this page. That's just a feature of Sugar. The whole thread shows up. Okay. Couple other things you can do, and then Ronnie, I'll hand it over to you. I can do a very simple right click. So right from here, well, I can unarchive it, that's cool. But I could archive it right from here without replying to someone. And then of course I could sync in contacts and I can sync in calendar items as well. So if I want my calendar items to be showing, Like maybe I don't want yoga, but I do want this email or this, this with the client. I want this to be saved and mark it for sync. No, I would not like to resend invitations, but because it's pink, this is going to show up in my Sugar calendar now. Great. Same thing with people. I don't have to sync all the people. And listen, I don't sync any people because the paradigm shift, right? The paradigm shift that's happened is that when I ever want to look at someone's phone number, I don't go into my contacts now. I go in to my Sugar mobile app. I don't need to look in Outlook anymore, right? So that's a huge paradigm shift, but really, I'm telling you, it works once you're driving adoption. This really, really just changes the whole paradigm, and I'm now looking for notes and everything in my Sugar mobile app on my iPhone. And just want to show one more thing. Here's a note. It'll show preview of the note, but to see the whole thing, I need to click in and it will take me to Sugar. So I know I'm talking a little fast here, but I think at this point, Ronnie, I'll pass it over to you. You've still got at least 15, 20 minutes. We'll see the implicit platform. And please, guys, put your questions in the questions box, and we'll get to them as they come in. Ronnie, making you presenter.
Okay. There you go.
All right, we can see your screen.
Can see, perfect. Okay, so let me start off by talking a little bit about the philosophy behind the product. As opposed to what you've seen Sonia doing, clicking on any item here basically takes you immediately to Sugar, which is where Sugar, of course, wants you to be. We took a totally different approach. And what we are saying is, if you are a Outlook user, you spend all your day in Outlook, you communicate with customers, you schedule meetings, most of the CRM data is in Outlook anyway. Why not allow you to do most of your CRM work from within Outlook without forcing you to switch back and forth? So along those lines, what we've done is we've created this toolbar up here on top. It looks very much like Sugar. We have all your modules. I click on accounts. I can see all my accounts that I'm working with, my leads, my opportunities, cases, notes, everything. So standard as well as custom. And I'll show you how we deal with custom, where we basically derive the design of the Outlook form from the definition of how you defined the custom modules or the custom fields in Outlook, in Sugar. Now, having all this information, let me open, for example, an account. You can see this is exactly the same information that you have in Sugar, except it's presented here inside Outlook, inside an Outlook form. So you have the overview, additional information. If you've created any kind of custom fields for this accounts module, you'll see them here. And then just like in Sugar, you have all your related records to this account. So the list of opportunities, cases, activities, these are meetings and tasks, history and notes, the list of contacts, and then all your received emails from anyone at this account, sent emails, and even documents that you've archived from Word or Excel or Acrobat, they're going to show up here. Now, one thing that's important to emphasize is that these are actual Outlook data, so not just database records, but if I open the meeting from here, what I have is an Outlook meeting that I can forward, change, do whatever I need to do. What you can see is we've extended the standard invite and added the section down below that contains the CRM specific information. So this tells me, yes, I want to archive and I want to sync this meeting. It's related to account. This is the account. It's assigned to this team, this user. This is the meeting type, etc. So all the CRM information here, and then everything looks and behaves the same way. So if I open a task, I'll have the Outlook task, and then down below the CRM information. Contacts, same thing. Now, having all this information allows us to provide a lot of very useful functionality. So here I am looking at my side panel. One thing that you'll notice that's very different, if you click on the account, for example, it's not going to take you to Sugar. It's going to open the account here in Outlook. So you can make changes. You can update the account or view the information, and then the system will take care of synchronizing it in the background back to Sugar. So from here, I have access to the contact information, the account, and then any recent activity that I've had with this account. Opportunities, cases, and this is all configurable. So you can select which data to show in the side panel. So I have my opportunities, my cases, etc. And then there's a whole set of actions that I can take directly from here. So say this just like Sonia showed, this email represents a new opportunity for me. All I have to do is click the plus button, and the new opportunity opens up in Outlook. The account is already selected. All I have to do is give it a name. So say give it an amount. You can see that the system created a copy of the email inside the description of the opportunity, and all I have to do is click Save, and it's creating the new opportunity in Sugar. It shows up here because this is the most recent activity. And then if I want to see it if I do want to switch and see this record in Sugar, then all I have to do is click the Q button, takes me to Sugar, shows me this is the record that I just created. And then if I scroll down, I can also see the email that generated this opportunity. It was automatically archived to the opportunity record. Now, talk about archiving. I want to show you the different ways of archiving emails. So let's take one that hasn't been archived. For example, this case. I have many different ways of archiving an email. The simplest one is I can just simply drag and drop the email and drop it onto this case. Yes. And what you see is now there's a green check mark that says this email has been archived to this record. But maybe this is not enough. This is the simplest case, and people love drag and drop. Sometimes it's not enough. So I do need a way to have additional functionality. So I can click Archive Email. And similar to Sugar, I can customize the subject. I can archive it to the contact and the account. Or I can say, I need more. I need to archive it to the contact, the account, this opportunity, and this case. Or I can just bypass this whole thing altogether and say, archive it to something else, to a lead. And then similar to Sugar, we have the ability to say, from now on, automatically archive any future messages in this conversation to the records that I just selected. And then there's follow-up options and other things. So this is the advanced archive. Another method for archiving, say there's been email exchange back and forth between me and Jane, and at some point the opportunity matured, and I want to go back and archive the complete conversation. So all the thread, all that email thread back and forth between me and Jane and maybe other people, I can pick up all these emails in one shot and say just archive each email to its respective recipients and their accounts. Or I can choose another record, and then once again, from now on, automatically archive any future messages. So this is a way to archive a complete conversation in one shot. Now, these were the manual methods of archiving. I can also come here and say, okay, Jane is my customer. I communicate with her frequently. I want to create an archiving rule for Jane or for the account. Let's just start with Jane and say any email, I can give it a name. Any received emails or sent emails from Jane, automatically archive it, and the system automatically identified the record for me. Now, this is based on what we call the rules engine. And let me give you examples. This is very similar, if you're familiar with the rules engine inside Outlook, this is very similar to the Outlook native engine. So let's take a look at few rules like this. Simplest case is, as I showed you, just per contact, all received, all sent, and then associate with the contact. Or anybody at this account. So there's a way to say wildcard, asterisk, anybody at this account, archive to the account. Or you can go much more granular and create rules to match your own business workflow. So here's an example. I want to create a rule that says, apply this to qualified leads that are sending sales inquiries. That means it's both incoming, outgoing. Now, instead of a specific email address now, I'm saying any lead. I can say any contact, any lead, account, whatever I want, which means that now the rule is going to be resolved at runtime. When I will receive an email, send an email, we're going to check Sugar to see if this is a known lead. And that known lead sent an email to sales, therefore it's going to trigger the rule. Or another example, maybe it's a qualified contact sending emails to support. So same thing, any contact, send to support. You can also create conditions based on what's in the subject, and then the system will archive it to the recipient and respective account. This is the rules engine, and it allows you to create, there's different type of rules. There's rules for creating cases automatically or action items. There's a variety of different options here. Now, on the subject of emails, let me show you how we utilize email templates. So I'm replying to Jane, and Jane requested a quote, and my Sugar admin has created a template for quotes. And I can use that template from within the email that I'm replying to. So I can say, select the template. This is the complete list of all the templates that I have in Sugar. So I select the template. Yes. And you can see we're downloading the templates into that email. And this is what it looks like. It has what we call merge fields. So contact name, title, account name, address. You can customize it any way you want with the signature, however you want to do this. And then since the system knows about Jane, it automatically selected the CRM record. And all I have to do is click merge. And it will bring the CRM data from Jane's record, merge it with a template, and then generate an email for me that I can now send to the customer. So what we're doing here is we're leveraging functionality in Sugar, taking those templates and allowing you to main merge for a specific email to a specific client. Just to mention, from here, I can also attach document directly from Sugar. Maybe before going forward, are there any questions at this point?
Yes. So can either of these support multiple Exchange servers? So first of all, I'll handle it from the out-of-the-box side. You cannot, the Sugar out-of-the-box plugin just resides on the client side. It does not reside on the Exchange server, and it's agnostic of what client or what email service is feeding into the client, right? It doesn't matter. So Ronnie, maybe, but it doesn't attach to the Exchange server, the out-of-the-box one. Sugar, implicit, how does that work, Ronnie?
It's basically, it works with one Exchange server at a time. Mm-hmm. So if you have multiple Exchange servers, it won't support it.
Okay, got it. And then what versions of Sugar does Implicit work with?
Everything up to version 8.
Okay, great. So even the past versions, version 6?
Sorry, starting from 6.5.
Okay. And then for those of you, if anyone's on Community Edition, it depends on what version you're running, but we've supported that as well. And then one more question. Oh, yes, I think we'll get here, but how do you update documents via the plugin? So I'm sure that you're going to handle that. Ronnie, kind of touch on the word. Okay, great, we'll get there. Thank you. That's all for now.
Perfect. So let me show you this. Let's go back to AGPAR. Let's look at the related data documents. For example, I have a proposal to AGPAR. Click on it, Word opens up, and you'll see, just like in Outlook, there's a side panel that's inside Word. And all I have to do is tell the system, yes, I want this document to be archived in Sugar. What is it related to? It's related to an account. The account is AGPAR. See, I just started typing and it immediately found the record. And that's all I have to do. So I save it on my desktop, just like I save any other document. I close it, and then next time I synchronize, it will get synchronized to Sugar and archived to the record that I just selected. So let's talk about synchronization. I can typically, once people get going there, they set up automatic synchronization so they don't need to do it manually. But if you do need to do it manually, you can simply, you have this sync now, you can sync a specific type of item, like accounts or opportunities, or you can just tell the system, go ahead and sync everything. And in which case, both systems, we connect Sugar to Exchange, compare all the data, And then any changes that have occurred since the last time I synchronized will be synced to the other system. And then documents, you can see documents are right here. Let me touch on configurations because it's a really important aspect of the system. So I go to options, front-end options, and I get this option dialog. So there's a whole bunch of settings here. I'll touch on tethered mode in a second, but let's look at sync configuration. This is where you tell the system which modules you want to sync and how you want to sync them. For example, I can say, okay, accounts. I want to sync accounts. I want to sync them bidirectionally, so Sugar to Outlook, Outlook to Sugar. If I have custom data, this is where I choose which custom fields to show. And then which accounts do I want? I can have only accounts assigned to me, or if I'm part of a team, say I'm part of the North America sales team, then I can choose to sync only all accounts that are assigned to this team. So you can choose however you, basically the way you work. Opportunities, same thing, assigned to me, assigned to teams, cases. You can also set time frame to make sure that you're not getting stale record, but only fresh ones. So this is the complete list of all standard record, standard modules, as well as what I mentioned, custom modules. So here we created a module called Facilities Work Order. You can see that I'm selecting to sync it. I can customize it to select which fields do I want to show up. And very similar to Studio. So basically what you're doing is you're defining the layout of the fields or the layout of the form by selecting the fields in different locations. And then the actual, let me exit here to show you how it looks like. The actual type of field, size, everything is derived directly from Sugar. So you can see this matches what I just chose, time, work description. So there's a time control, there's a list, there's a drop down, and it's all derived directly from Sugar.
That's great. Ronnie, we do have a couple questions, and I will just kind of drive that point home that we've got a few fields in our opportunity module that I'm able to do all of my opportunity updates from within Outlook because the custom fields are showing, and it's just hugely productive. So we've got a question here that I think the answer is no, but Kelsey has a good question. What if you make, going back to the Word integration, Ronnie, what if you make an update to a document you've previously archived? Will it sync the newer version?
It will.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
So
okay.
Any changes to an existing document, it will sync it back to Sugar.
Will it sync it as a brand new copy?
No, it's just as a revision.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Love it.
Going back to sync configuration, so typically what happens is this may be too much for end users to do their own configurations. So what we've done is we've created a tool for administrator. So administrator can say, okay, I'm creating a configuration for my sales team. They don't need cases, but they do need accounts and opportunities, and etc. This configuration includes everything. So all the modules that get synced, for example, I can select here in the side panel not to show cases, but only to show opportunities. I can rearrange it. And then when I'm ready to publish, I can say, okay, now go ahead and publish this configuration to all my sales team, Asia, EMEA, and North America, and publish. From a user perspective, it simplifies all the installation and configuration process, because what's going to happen is, say I'm a new user, I install FrontEnd and log in, it's going to say, welcome, we've identified that you're part of the sales team, and we identified that the admin has already published a configuration for the sales team. We're not going to ask you any questions. We're just going to use that configuration and done. You don't need to do anything. So that truly simplifies the deployment across different teams.
That's great. And we've had companies with hundreds of users of this plugin, and it's really easy for them to deploy it in the manner in which it should be configured, and you can deploy it across the network too, Ronnie, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so there's different deployment packages. We create deployment packages for admins to silently push the front-end installation over the network. So in an enterprise, it simplifies the installation process.
Great. That's amazing.
Let me touch on one thing I wanted to show you. Say I want to open a record in Sugar. So I click on the Q button, opens it up in Sugar. As I mentioned before, we have a set of plugins, including, in this case, this is Chrome. So even when you're working with Sugar inside the browser, you have access to Outlook functionality through this add-in. Let me give you a very specific example. Say I'm working with a contact. Okay, so I'm viewing a contact, and now I want to schedule a meeting with this contact. But I don't want to schedule it through Sugar. I want to schedule it through Exchange in order to leverage, all the wonderful calendaring functionality of Exchange. So from Sugar, there you go. So from Sugar, I created an invite, and I'm sending it to the contact. It identified the contact, of course. It also identified the record, so that when this meeting is created in my calendar, it will automatically sync to Sugar. So this is the method, going back to Sugar, this is the method of accessing Outlook functionality from inside the browser. What else? There's actually one more area that I wanted to emphasize, and that is the offline functionality. Here under options, you can select under tethered mode, you can select how you want to work. You want to sync contacts and other data between Sugar and Outlook, or I don't want to do that, leave everything in Sugar, and I can just use it online. So when you choose in the beginning whether you want to use tethered or non-tethered mode, this is how you do it. And when you are in non-tethered mode, basically everything that you see here is cached. I switched to tethered. That's why it was loading. Let me switch back. Sorry, just a second. There we go. So everything that you see here, accounts, opportunities, it's all cached on the local desktop. And then as soon as you go back to the office, you can go on an airplane and archive emails and make changes to your contacts and CRM data. As soon as you go back to the office, all those changes will be synced with Sugar. So that there's a full offline mode support.
That's amazing. That's really the only way that you can get offline in Sugar. They used to have an offline client years ago, and they've taken that. So thank you, Rachel, for pointing out the mail merge in emails. I don't remember you showing that, Ronnie.
I did. So when I replied, there you go. So when I replied,
okay, great.
Yeah. Remember, when you're replying to an email, or even when you're composing a new email, all you have to do is click email template, select the template, and then do the name merge.
Awesome. And then again, those are driven off the templates that reside within Sugar email.
Yes.
Awesome. Great. Great. And that's for a single email. This is not meant for mass emailing.
Right, that's not meant for mass emailing. Mass emailing you have in Sugar, but this is just leveraging whatever you created in Sugar for specific emails.
Okay, great. All right, wonderful. That's lovely. Oh, costs. So are you done, you think, Ronnie, or do you have anything else?
One more thing I wanted to mention. We have support for Outlook Web Access. So this is how it shows up inside the browser. And then if you're using Mac, you'll have this functionality, the side panel functionality, inside your Outlook on Mac.
And is that a different license, Ronnie, or is that all rolled into the one?
It's a different license, but same pricing. So it really doesn't matter. If you're using Mac, you can choose this one. If you're using Outlook, the Outlook one I must say, is richer in functionality, just because Microsoft chose to make it like that. We have much more ability to customize Outlook on Windows than we have on Mac.
Of course, but this is quite nice. This is wonderful, and then you've got the social links as well. That's great. Okay, well, Sarah, if you don't mind popping up the PowerPoint again, we'll touch on pricing and take any more questions that we have here.
All right.
Wonderful. So that's it. $12.
It's very simple. $12 per user per month, billed annually, just like Sugar. So $144 a year, and we require a minimum of 5 seats.
Okay, minimum of 5 seats, and then there is a $500 one-time setup and training. So that's another, just another one-time consideration, but we do some personalized walkthrough, and that includes the whole year of support as well. So you get unlimited support. So what are lost on Outlook for Mac? So Emmy's asking. That's a great question. Now personally, I'm a Mac user at home. You do have to be back-ended by 365, so by Dynamics. As long as you're a subscriber to 365, you can have the Mac plugin in your your Outlook web app. Or Ronnie, you can also have that in the Mac Outlook client on-prem, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, but what are some of the things that are lost in that web version, like mail merge, like what other things?
Yeah. So anything that occurs in the background is not supported. For example, all the email rules, the auto email archiving. But what we've done is, if you need that functionality, you can combine it with the Exchange connector. So the Exchange connector can take care of all the synchronization work, can take care of all the email rules. So you get the best of both worlds.
Awesome. Okay, that's wonderful. And then just to make it clear, you don't have to have one-to-one. So if you have 100 Sugar users, you don't have to have 100 Implicit users. You could just have 30 for your sales team. So that's okay. I'm personally just super happy that you made a plugin work with my Mac. So thank you, Ronnie.
You're welcome.
It's really, really nice to have that. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions coming in. Ronnie, any other points? Or I love this product because, again, I don't have to really leave Outlook to update my opportunities and keep up with my CRM work. It puts me ahead of the game. I will also say that we are going to be sending out this recording with an offer for a free trial and a one-on-one walkthrough. Yeah, there we go. Wonderful. Where you can try it free for 15 days. And we'll also do, again, a one-on-one kind of training. And then mobile version. So, Ronnie, maybe you can talk about that. I think there's a little bit of a paradigm shift there where you're going into Sugar Mobile, but is there plans, or does it make sense to even have a mobile version of Implicit?
No, we leave it to Sugar. So
Right.
I think the Sugar mobile app is great. There's no need for us to contribute anything there.
Yep. I'd say the only downfall would be that if you're replying to someone from your iPhone, that unless it's configured with the email engine rules, which Ronnie showed, if I want to archive everything that Devin sends me, then if that's set up in my rules, then even if I send something to Devin on my phone, it will still archive it. I don't have to press that button. So Ronnie, is that your thinking around doing the archiving from your iPhone? Okay.
Right. Yep.
Good. So that works. Okay, well, we'll stick around for just a couple other minutes here, but feel free to leave the room. Again, we'll send out an email correspondence with a link to request that free trial, a link to the recording, and you will be getting a call probably from Devin, our demo subject, but he's also one of our lead business development reps here, so he may be in touch with you just to see if you'd like that personal walkthrough or trial. So again, we'll hang on here for a couple minutes, but Ronnie, we can't thank you enough. This is a wonderful product, and thank you for your participation today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Great.